build those relationships. Some are family, some aren't. And back to the family piece, it's like the transparency, the honesty. Be honest, be real, be genuine, and you can't go wrong if you do those two things.
Hey Wildcats, my name is Nicole Camacho. I'm here with my colleague
Seliat.
Welcome back to the UAZ Podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Kendall Foster. He is a native to Tucson and a native tribal member to Gia River Indian community. He has a bold and visionary leader with 20 plus experience on driving economic mobility, workforce innovation, and mission-driven impact across nonprofit, tribal government, and also enterprise sectors. So thank you so much, Kendall, for coming on the podcast to inspire here students at the U of A. So for our first question is, why is it so important to bring greater awareness to economic development within the tribal communities in Arizona?
That's a great question to lead us off, Wynn. And I also got to jump in there just to say it's Gila River Indian community, just shy of Phoenix. And so I'm a proud member of them. And yes, being here in Arizona, we have about 22 federally recognized tribes that cover the state. And working throughout Phoenix, throughout Maricopa County, Pima County, we want to see really just more awareness, really, truly. I mean, most of the... we have actually 3 different tribes down south here. And the economic impact you all are seeing firsthand, which is at the U of A football stadium, the partnership between Pasco Yaqui and the U of A, which is beautiful. That's a prime example of what I would love to see continue to happen over and over again with other tribes, other entities, promoting more pathways to partnership and also pathways to actually growth too as well. Now we have a micro campus that's going to be going out in Pasco Yaqui too as well. With that ties in students to be able to attend maybe the micro campus. Maybe they can't get all the way to the U of A, but they can see themselves being out there, and they can also get connected to as well. So back to your question, which is, why is it so important about economic development? Tribes have many things to offer, and usually it's just not highlighted and it's not brought to the table. And a lot of the tables or rooms that we get invited into, a lot of folks can't get in there, or they don't know what's going on, or we're the last to the table. My passion and drive is to do the complete opposite, to bring it to the table, to make this awareness known, to highlight what all tribes can do, what they'd like to do, what other programs and partnerships, enterprises they'd love to launch, whether it be attraction or education. What I will say most tribes do need is infrastructure. That's one piece where we are lacking, and we're definitely working on that across the state.
That's amazing. I didn't know there was going to be like a mini campus on the tribes. How do you see that working? Do you think there will be more students at the U of A due to this adaptation?
That is the hope. We do a great job of pumping out native students here at the U of A. However, we can do better, and that's where I eat, sleep, drink this stuff. I could talk to y'all for 2 weeks straight, probably without taking a breath on tribal economics. But just like as you mentioned, that satellite microcampus, this is something we had up our sleeves 10 years ago almost, and now it's just kind of coming to fruition. But the point is that at Hohokam Middle School used to be a large, beautiful campus out there in Pasco Yaqui, which is the 202. Shout out to the 202, which is also known as New Pascua, out there by Casino del Sol. But that campus is really built to be almost like a community college. What people don't know is that place has amazing infrastructure on the inside for culinary trainings too as well. We'd love to see more permaculture. We'd love to see more gardening. We'd love to see way more technology also come into play too as well. And what's a big challenge right now going across all tribes, especially the rural tribes, is connectivity. How do we get the internet out there to a lot of these rural folks? So fiber, and pretty much it's really just like the internet and getting actually cable laid in the ground to get out to these villages, especially in Tohono O'odham. But we'd love to see them get connected to the U of A as best as possible, so we can highlight more students to come through the pipeline.
Oh, that's such a beautiful thing, because I know how it's difficult like for people in the rural area to be able to connect well with the city, and how like underserved populations can feel so behind just because they live in a very far place. Because I've had the opportunity to live in a rural city where there was no internet, there was no communication whatsoever, and I was missing a lot. So like I understand what it feels like to be in a kind of area and then feeling left behind. So I really appreciate what you're doing out there. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So what does economic development in tribal communities look like for you? Like, do you have like evaluative criteria that measures economic growth and development? And does it differ from like the traditional economic development that we know?
Yes, it does differ. I think with Native and Indigenous tribal economics, we love to carry this cultural piece to it, which definitely highlights our history, where we're coming from, where we're going. Most Indigenous tribes will, in my opinion, I think the best way to do it is to look back 7 generations and look forward 7 generations and see how we play a part in that growth, whether it be in the past, learn from our mistakes, learn what to do, what not to do. And then also, where do we want to see ourselves in, ideally, the next 7 years or 7 generations? And I think the biggest lessons I think we're learning right now is doing our best not to repeat history.
Mm-hmm.
And with a lot of tribes across the country, across the world, the trust is broken. It's really tarnished. So how do you reestablish this trust within a very populated area? Prime example, Tucson. We have 2 tribes that are just to the south of us. And Pasquayaki runs all the way up to, if you really want to get technical, it's like San Jose, California. There's pockets all the way down to San Carlos. Tohono is huge, shares the border between us and Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to lose our ways. That's the biggest thing. And I think as a American society, I think we've lost our way a little bit. I think we took some wrong turns somewhere in the past. What I will say about Indigenous tribes, that doesn't get left behind. And that is something I think that does set us apart from your quote-unquote normal, traditional economic courses too. And I can see Ella right now. I can see some folks over there. But that's the main difference for sure. And then also getting creative too as well, because when you are out there and you are in these rural areas, creativity goes through the roof of what do you have and what can you make of what you have. And I think that creative juices need to also kind of be poured back into the city too as well. And I think you're starting to see that now. It's being shared across platforms, other municipalities, colleges. So just love to see that continue to keep thriving.
And creativity makes you like able to connect your past with your future, and like the current generations, those that don't even know what happened in the last 5 years, they're able to see, oh, this was how this thing worked during this time. So
You got it.
yeah, that's really good.
You did come to the U of A for your bachelor's. Was there like a club or an organization that really shaped you into the person you are and really helped you get to the position that you are in right now?
That's a great question. I actually sought mine out off campus. And the first one that pops into my head is Desert Trails Golf Club. I love playing golf. They actually helped me sponsor me through college. Long story short is they were all older than me. And they were all veterans from the military, from all walks of life. And I can see and hear their stories that they would share with me on the golf course. And having that wisdom, I think really did set me apart from a lot of other folks. I was not the partier type. I avoided fraternities. I didn't see that being, I saw a lot of the activities that they were doing was just, I mean, let's be real, it's partying. And so it has a persona about it that I just didn't want to be associated with. So I really attest my vision, my whatever successes there are, is in terms of my elders. I really sought out my elders, and I interviewed them, and I asked them tough questions, and I wanted to know, how do I literally lower my bell curve? You know, that's really what it is. It's like, how do we get that curve a little bit lower every generation to hopefully have more success quicker, faster? And I think that's the real growth, and that's the real magic and medicine that comes out of getting close to elders and again, latching onto them. And the crazy part, it kept me out of trouble so much. I should have
Yeah.
I should have been killed. I should have been locked up. I should have been so many different things. I should have been in trouble. And thank goodness to some of my elders that said, hey, and they didn't have to say much to me. I was hungry for it. I started becoming hungry of saying, tell me what else is next. And, hey, what would you do in this situation? So I think having a mentors like that and elders to bounce things off of, it's an absolute must.
That's true. So what are some of the biggest challenges or missed opportunities when it comes to advancing economic developments?
My biggest, currently right now is the word that pops in my head is sustainability. All growth is not good growth. And I'll give you an example, all revenue is not good revenue. And I can hear Tupac, man, hey, I made a G today, but yeah, you made it in a sleazy way. And it's such a line, such a bar in his lyrics. But what he's saying is, it's nice to when you can do business, have great partnerships, make money, make other people money too as well, but in a healthy manner and fashion. Currently, right now, many tribes are gaining the revenue from casinos.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking casinos. I think they bring a lot of job development and growth. And also at what costs to your own tribe is that hurting the tribe too as well. And I think it should be looked at from both sides. When I say sustainability, I'm also speaking to like water issues. Currently right now we're having a large retailer here, very large, one of the largest in the world, want to come and set up shop here. It sounds great. It sounds alluring. It sounds shiny and it sounds beautiful. Yet a lot of folks don't realize, but we've been positioning ourselves for water conservation for the past probably 40 years. I can remember Dave Modier with Tucson Water talking about, how do we conserve water. So my point is saying, if we were to move forward with a project like that, how soon would we deplete our water? And at what cost again? And so there's got to be also different ways to make money, to be successful, and also to be sustainable too as well. So I hope a lot of folks, and hopefully a lot of your audience and the students, think about sustainability too. Again, it's nice to make a quick buck, but you can't continue to do that every single month, every single year. And then also, who are you hurting, or who are you pulling along with and actually building with, as opposed to just robbing people blind.
Yeah, we had many guests that have talked about conservation of water. It's a huge problem here in Tucson. You did mention Tupac, which is a famous rapper. Does music do you involve music into your work ethic, like motivational, or do you just listen to music whenever you're in the car?
I listen to music as much as I possibly can. I also I love this bit of technology where we can listen to books, audibles. I mean, I love audible books. Let's be real, that's such an easy way to get books completed. But back to your question, yeah, music is a huge integral piece of my life. All the way from hearing the water drum being beat in ceremony, all the way to J. Cole coming out with his new album about to come out and drop, and I cannot wait for that one. So there's so much relevancy in music. And again, back to your point, Tupac, he was ahead of his time. There's so many artists that are just ahead of their time. And I think that's where I see myself at too. I think I'm ahead of my time a little bit. A lot of the projects I've been working on or doing, they're usually about like 4 to 6 years out. And nobody wants to kind of touch it until then. But at the end of the day, I'm just excited it's happening. So back to your point, yes, music is a must, and it is. There are so many lessons in lyrics and the genres. We can go on and on in terms of genre, not just hip hop, but every song does have a message in it.
There was something you said earlier about like when a new opportunity comes up, like looking beyond just the juicy picture and like going in depth into like the cost of that opportunity. So how do you deal with like unintended consequences, things that you can't really foresee? The cost at this, like during this time when we're trying to like compare. So how do you work around that to know if you should accept the opportunity or not?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. So at the time when I was hired with Pascuyaki, Chairman Yacopicio, he really drove this point home. He said, number one, I would love for you to take our tribe to another level. Number two, you're going to have to be really keen and aware of these snake oil salesmen who are going to come to you, and you're going to be kind of like the filter to kind of see, is this a viable opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
Will this help the tribe? Will this help our pockets? Will it just help their pocket? Or are they just trying to check a box on a grant application to see that they can get some more money because they're working with a federal tribe?
Yeah.
So you have to be so keen and quick on reading the room, who's talking to you, and what you really got to listen to is what's in it for them. That's what's always the scary part. Once you start really finding out and you start peeling back the layers of the onion and finding out, oh, there's a $50 million check in this for y'all, but you're only going to give us 2. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe this might not be a good deal. And you're right, there are going to be some foreseen circumstances and issues that do pop up. I'll give you an example. I got courted by a partnership that we were going to do with Pasco Yaqui for almost 2 years. And at the end of the time, council at the time said, hey, we're not going to move forward with that project or that program. We just don't see it being, it's just not our jam right now. And, hey, that's fine. But it taught me a huge lesson to consistently also remind whoever I'm working with that this is not my tribe. These are not my people. I'm not on council. I am the messenger. I work for them. So whatever they say, I'm just disseminating right back to you. But I'll also go into more depth and detail with you. But I'm kind of that gateway. And when they told me I had to tell them pretty much no, man, it hurt because we had built a great rapport. They flew me out to Washington, to Oregon, to all these different places to come see how their system works. And again, it's business. It is business, and it's not there to. Your feelings are going to get hurt. You're going to get surprises. You're going to get and so long story short was I had to remind myself that things can change on a dime too. And again, I'm merely the messenger. So they understood. They weren't too happy. We're still in contact, and so. But again, it taught a valuable lesson of. I think it might be a great idea. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks great on paper. But again, I work for them at that time.
So one thing I've learned from my program is like the benefits of collaborative governance partnership. So how do you see collaborations with private sector, with government, with educational institutions? How do you see the impact of that on the economic development and sustainable growth?
Oh, man, it can be beautiful. And that's the cool part is when you get some real folks who are genuine, that are authentic, that are also transparent too, that's when the magic happens. And I'll give you an example. I keep going back to Pasco Yaqui Beach just because that's exactly what we did. I was able to work with the city of Tucson, a municipality, a nonprofit, which is Sonoran Stitch, a for-profit, and also a tribe. And so when you have these 4 partners playing together that do still create jobs, and everybody wins, I mean, like that's a home run. That is a home run. Everybody won inside that whole partnership. We created jobs. We changed generations of folks who actually are working, as opposed to maybe relying on state government assistance or something like that. But to get, especially, and I will highlight this, especially like the single mom who's got the 2 kids, who says, hey, I can work, but like I got to drop the kids off at school, so you pretty much got me from like 8 o'clock to maybe say 2:30, but anytime in between there, I'm all yours. And so the partnership that we created was a Sonoran Stitch, which is industrial sewing, and these folks got to take iPads home to train, to learn. And I thought it was a slam dunk, and it got coverage from the news, and it was really beautiful. And so I know we changed, dozens of lives, hopefully in a positive fashion and manner, to be more independent, to be more resilient. So those are like proud papa moments that I have.
Your job consists on affecting so many people here in Arizona. How do you control that pressure on your shoulders?
I can see this quote that's on, I think it's in Wimbledon or somewhere, but it's like, pressure is a privilege. And I feel like I'm built for this. I don't know how else to put it, but I continue to rely on my grandmother. She's a huge integral part of my life. She was all of probably 4'9". But I work to make her proud. I really, truly carry her with me everywhere I go. I always feel like she's like off in the distance a little bit, but she's just sitting
Yeah.
there watching, and she's not. There's no audible to her, but
Mm-hmm.
the looks she gives me tells me if I'm on the right path or if I'm doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just I have a great network too. I'm born and raised here in Tucson. I've made the state feel smaller in terms of networking. I mean, heck, like just last year, I got to keynotes, speaker for the for Governor Hobbs. She comes through, and it's just cool. It's so cool to know like we're all on this pretty much the same team of wanting to see progress. But to keep the pressure off, as I mentioned earlier, I think before we started this podcast, which was saying, I find my church is in nature. I go to nature to get quiet and get still, and to listen, and also to give things to Creator, Spirit. I mean, people have many names for it, but you really got to take a deep breath and remind myself of what I'm doing this for. I love highlighting the Black and Indigenous communities, underserved populations. They're amazing. They are liquid gold there that just need to be kind of put in the right light, in my opinion.
That's true. In what ways does economic development intersect with broader issues like health equity, workforce development, and long-term community well-being in the tribal communities?
We'll take the most recent issue, biggest impact, which is COVID. COVID, I think, rocked everybody in some form or fashion, right? And there's some good things that did come out of COVID. I'd like to see them bring back, like, for example, like those stickers that they have on the floor at the grocery stores where you're supposed to stand 6 feet away from them.
Yeah.
I'm like, bring that back. That was awesome. Like,
That's so true.
I don't want to stand. This dude's way too close, and he's breathing on my neck. I can feel it. But that highlighted how fragile Native communities are, and it also highlighted to me how fragile also the Black and Indigenous communities are and susceptible to health issues. I am fortunate enough also to work with the Cancer Research Board here at the U of A, and that's exactly why they brought me on. I'll never forget. They said, "Hey, man, you're young, you're Native and Black. We need you." I said, "Cool, I'm in." And the coolest part was highlighting how COVID will affect Black and Indigenous 5 times harder. Many tribes, a lot of tribes, I mean, we lost a lot of elders. We lost a lot of people because of these morbidities were kind of like stacked upon each other.
Yeah.
And then kind of COVID was like the last push over the hill. So getting more awareness out to the communities, and also how do we get folks to get really serious about changing what they're putting in their mouth. And we had a great program that was coming up with Dr. Kantz at the time, and we were working with the Dene up north, and we were working with Food City. And I'll give you kind of like a snippet of the program, what we wanted to see, and I really would love to see us come back. But tribal members would go into Food City, they pick up their groceries, they take a picture of the receipt of what they had, and then they would send it in to our nutritionists here at the U of A. The U of A would look into the what that Food City had in terms of products and compare. Hey, we saw that you bought those nacho cheese Doritos. We're going to supplement those and substitute those with baked Lays.
Yeah.
Oh, we saw you bought the white Wonder Bread. Okay, cool. We're going to get you some whole wheat bread on that one. And then we come back, and the groceries should be ideally ready for them to pick up, along with a $50 fuel card to say, hey, we know you drove in here. It's very sparse up there. It's very rural. It's like it's almost like another planet up there. It's really beautiful, though. And if you follow this kind of track, your numbers will go down. The COPD, the morbid obesity, the type 2 diabetes, all these numbers will start to come down. But what most folks are so leaning on is gas stations, convenience stores, Circle K's, Chevrons, the Shell gas stations. And they're going in there picking up a 32-ounce Thirst Buster, a hot dog with some chips, and then washing all that down with a Snickers and maybe a Gatorade. None of that is healthy. And I can assure you that most of these food deserts out there, it's a struggle. And so how do you get folks to change their behavior to start eating real, healthy, nutritious food is a big deal. So at Gila River, we launched our own grocery store, and it's beautiful. It looks like almost like a Whole Foods type style look.
Wow, yeah.
And I pray to God it's gonna. And the cool part, I got to be at the groundbreaking and got to be the MC. And again, my grandmother would have been bawling her eyes out if she saw me, but I was bawling out for her because I'm like, I know I'm making her proud. But again, that's going to change that whole town of Saskatoon. And hopefully all the other districts, there's 7 districts up there. Hopefully it changes their trajectory in terms of health and wellness. That will hopefully put them on a path to say, hey, if I can control my weight and my size and my health, what else can I control? Can I control my career? Can I control, my life trajectory?
Yeah.
So, and all these things really, there's a book, and the book is, it starts with food. I highly recommend anybody to read that book because it's true. Whatever you put in your body, it will have an effect, and it will either be positive, or you will sit there and go, no, I need some more Oreos, and I'm just going to sit here and mope, and I'm just going to be really sad. And some people eat their way into depression. So
yeah, I think that's a wonderful program. Do you see it expanding not only in Arizona but in other states?
I think it should. I wish it would. I should probably patent it and probably freaking make my millions off of that. But it's a simple work through. However, what I am being crystal clear on is behavioral health is probably the number one thing. So everybody who's listening to podcasts, man, find a good therapist. Like seriously, you really got to speak about these things. You got to get these things off your chest, especially as men too, as well. Men are so logical, one-track minded, and so if you can change your attitude and your vision, my God, there's so many things will follow. Your optimism will be different. Your outlook will be a more positive light. Like my buddy right now, I just left his office, Dr. Jamal. It's like his catchphrase is, "You're doing great." And it's true. It's like, man, you're here. Like, you're doing great. Like, you're doing it. You are here. You're rocking it. And then I hear my grandma's age-old saying, it's like, whether you can or you can't, either way, you're right because you're going to believe it. So, and I'll be honest, it does get a little depressing being on some of the reservations and some of the communities out there that are very impoverished. And I could see, I see the hole that they've dug themselves in, and I could see, you got to, again, back to finding a mentor. Find somebody who's doing the doggone things and latch on to them. Take them out to coffee, treat them, hey, what can I do for you? Can I wash your car, man? Like, can I just shadow you for a little bit? Some people be like, sure, man. Hey, I do need an assistant or apprenticeship. So there's a lot of different ways to get connected.
You mentioned having mentors, but is there any time or has there been a specific time in your life you're like, I wish I knew something different, I wish I knew this better, and how does that influence you moving forward in your career?
Again, I seek out folks. I like to call myself a thief of knowledge, and I find folks, I vet them out, and I really see what their strong suits are and what their superpowers, typically would be. For example, I love doing this. I love talking to folks. I love chit-chatting, creating super cool partnerships. What you will not see me doing, you won't see me tied to a desk. But when you seek out, start asking questions, and you start getting real honest with yourself, it's weird. That age-old saying where it says, when the student is ready, the master will appear. And it's really crazy, but it is true like that. If you're hungry for it, people who love you and cherish you, want to see you succeed, they're going to point you in the right direction. Or they're going to say, hey, let me introduce you to somebody. You got to meet my boy Steve over here. I think he's kind of talking like you talk, and you guys seem to talk about the same thing all the time. Let me just introduce you. And then you meet Steve, and you're like, what's up, man? And then he introduces you to somebody else. And then the networking kind of starts to continue. Prime example, my son just moved up to Las Vegas. I connected him to my buddy who's now he's in the NFL and he's on the Raiders team. Him making just them sit down to have coffee or for lunch. God knows where that's going to go. My son might be in the NFL. He might be some water boy. I don't know. Maybe he might be a coach. Or my son really wants to see his car business go up. Maybe he might be working on all these NFL players' cars. I don't know. But the point is that you got to keep yourself open to opportunities. And especially when you don't know what you don't know, go seek somebody who does and have them introduce you to somebody else and keep it going. Keep it going. And keep it be humble too. Like, do not be pompous, arrogant. Like, that's one thing I see younger generations kind of do, is be a little too arrogant or a little bit too cocky. So check yourself before you wreck yourself, as they say.
You do a lot of great works. How do you balance family, career, and your personal lifestyle? How do you balance all of this?
Again, you'll find me in nature a lot. And the reason why I say that is because I'm officially a steward of Tucson Hill through the U of A, which is awesome. I haven't told anybody this, which is crazy. This has been like 2.5 years now. And I think I just nailed it. I think I just highlighted that too right now, which was, I'm private. I'm pretty private. I might be forward-facing to the community, and people think I'm very extroverted. But in reality, I love my autonomy. I love being alone. I think that's a must. I think I can hear Socrates, know thyself. I know how to charge my own batteries, is what I'm trying to get at. I know how to pour into my own cup. As an only child, you got to get creative. You know, you got to. I've eaten dirt, y'all. I've eaten some dirt in the backyard as a kid. I've burned the ants with the magnifying glass. I've had to entertain myself, is what I'm trying to get at. And I've really rooted myself out in nature, whether I'm playing golf, whether I'm hiking, whether I'm up on Tucson. I love national parks, y'all, like no other. I only got like Alaska. Obviously, Denali is huge up there. I think the Smoky Hills and like Tennessee is another one I want to go check out. But I lose myself in nature, and I love the saying that John Muir had said in Yosemite. Said, "All that wander aren't lost." And I'm like, that's me. That's so me. Yes, I know you. I hear you, John Muir. Like, I already know you, man. You're back in the 1800s, but like I get you. I see you. So that's how I find myself and keep myself grounded. I think everybody's got hobbies, things. My partner and I, we started painting together. We paint by numbers. It's a simple little gesture, but it's cathartic. It's meditative. It's relaxing too as well. So yeah, those are many different ways. And plus my kiddos too. That whatever they do, I'm just happy to see them happy. So seeing that happen, it brings me joy, brings me a big old smile, and lets me know I'm doing a good job. So.
Having your family or being a parent is such a life-changing moment, because you get to see like a little person growing into an adult, which is amazing. So how does it feel being a parent?
It's surreal, and I say that because I've always saw myself as having 2 kids, boy, girl, and it happened. And then also it highlights my abilities, my personality too as well. Meaning, there was a time where I could see myself, I was favoring my daughter over my son. And it's like, oh, and I had to catch myself. I was like, oh my God. And I apologized to both of them. I caught myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am playing favoritisms. But back to your question, it kicks you into overdrive. And it kicks you into a certain persona of, hey, guess what? It's not all about you anymore, Kendall. It's also about these little 2. And it's also, how are they seeing me too as well operate through the world? And also being real with them and transparent to say, hey, I don't know everything. I know a lot, but I'm going to mess up too. I'm going to screw up. Please have grace with me. And so setting that example of what you want to see have happen and how you want your kids to kind of emulate you, it also kicks you up in another notch to be better, to be more accountable, to hold that integrity too as well. And also to be human, the human aspect, to say, guess what, I'm really pissed off right now, or I'm really super sad about X, Y, and Z, and I'm here. Here we are, and it's not your fault, and it's not on you, and I don't want you to. You don't have to try to fix it either. It's not your job to fix it.
Yeah.
So, like heck, right now, my mom and I just went through a year of therapy and counseling, and it's been awesome. It's been awesome. It's been such a challenge, but in a good, healthy fashion. And so, with that being said, I just want to have healthy relationships with everybody in my family as much as possible. I want them to show up well. I would love for them to show up well, because that's the only way we're going to grow. So.
Yeah, that's so true. Having a good foundation to fall on. So when you're stressed at work or school, you have those people with you, and you can talk about, hey, this happened at work, and they can give you advice as well.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Kendall, for coming on the podcast and inspiring students here at the U of A. Do you have anything to say, Celeste?
I mean, I just learned something about like having the conversation with your kids and telling them,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a perfect person.
Yeah.
I'll make mistake. I'll mess up,
Mhm.
and you just have to accept that because I'm not perfect. This
Yeah.
is who I am. I'm human like you, and that's such a good thing. Because I'm also an only child, and I wish I had these conversations with my parents when they tell me, "Oh, we are not perfect. This is gonna happen," and I learned from what you said.
Thank you. And something you just touched on too, which was sometimes your family might not be your safety net.
Mhm.
It might be that friends. And I love what I know we're kind of taking this, which is
Mhm.
you might have some peers. Man, that might be your family right there.
Mhm.
Maybe you might have some athletes. Man, I played so many sports. I'm still friends with those folks. I still consider them family. So just me speaking personally as an only child, I have to create my own family. I have to create my networks. And so I can see the students doing the exact same thing. I would love to see them build that safety net, build those relationships. Some are family, some aren't. And back to the family piece, it's like the transparency, the honesty, be honest, be real, be genuine. And you can't go wrong if you do those two things.
Thank you so much, Kendall, for coming on the podcast. We
Thank you.
had such a great conversation, and we learned so much from you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.